I have to go and mute my my foldback. Anyways, hi again. It's another week, and my my poor sky and my air quality's awful outside. The sky, I'm under an angry red sun, obscured by clouds of smoke. I was outside for 4 hours today, cleaning my working on removing a big branch that fell off our tree, and then clearing out a whole bunch of stuff in the gardens right next to the house. And I now feel like a 3-pack a day smoker. I am not a smoker. If you choose to smoke, that's okay. I'm not issuing any kind of criticism of it or anything, but I just I feel rather gross right now. It's taken me a little while to recoup after being out and doing a lot of pretty physical stuff. So wanted to start off with I've been doing some work on my guitars, and I wanted to come up with a headstock design that was small, compact, and fairly unique. Not absolutely unique, because I'm sure there's stuff out there that looks completely unique, that looks like this, and will make it look like I'm not unique. But I wanted something that was a little bit more, like I said, compact, and this is what I came up with. So I took this is one of my source necks. A local guy started selling these on eBay, and these are Canadian hard rock maple necks with a hard rock maple fretboard, medium jumbo frets, and it was originally, the headstock came in and it was one of the Ernie Ball Music Man style. Now I did want to have a 4 and 2 alignment. I just didn't want it to look like Ernie Ball Music Man. So thought about it for a while, and then went outside, marked with a pencil what I thought the shape should look like. It's got just a slight concave curve, very slight. It could almost be straight. It would be just as good. I maybe cut it a little bit too close to the peg hole, but on the back side, the actual mechanism for the gear for the thing is on the bottom, below the peg hole. So and then smoothened out the cut down and made it sort of almost parallel when it meets these two surfaces, almost parallel when it meets the concave surface. And so this is kind of what I'd like to go with. I'm looking at these are nice necks, definitely well crafted. I also want to go for the roasted maple, just because the roasted maple is so profoundly stable. And I'll show you in a couple minutes here what I mean by that. So this is my prototype to start with, and then of course I probably will ask to bring the curve of the neck, curvature of the neck further down, depending on how it joins to the body. On the 12 on the double neck that I'll show you in a second here, there's an awful lot of the platform sort of hanging out. I've been debating whether or not I should take a rasp and shape it off to be more to keep the curvature going. But honest to goodness, a day like today and the way I'm feeling, that's probably one of the last things on my mind. So I also promised to show a couple of the instruments. I really wanted to be able to show the Telecaster. There it is. I had gotten a set of Tex-Mex pickups, and when I received them and I installed it, I had everything. I did the intonation and everything, got everything all set up, ready to play. I was playing it and enjoying myself, playing the guitar, enjoying myself, not any other way. But I was playing it and really loving this thing. Particularly, I mean, I'm not a big varnish, like a polyurethane neck guy, but this is such a beautiful neck. If I show you, you can see the flame on the neck. Anyways, after I wired it, this is a 4-position tele switch on here. After I wired it, plugged it in to do the intonation, I intoned it on the bridge pickup, and then started trying it out through the settings, and noticed that the neck pickup was not working. So when that happens, I have to break out my trusty, let's put it down over here. Hopefully it'll stay put. But I have to break out my trusty multimeter. The multimeter. Click it over to this, to the ohms, and then I start to mess around with the electronics. And what ended up happening, I determined after going over this, was I ended up removing the neck Tex-Mex pickup out after testing it, and found that it had 0 continuity, which means that there's a break in the wire somewhere in the middle. So my electronic engineering background came in handy again. So that's one guitar. It sounds, I slacked off all the strings so I could get the pick guard off and take the pickup out, and I haven't tightened the strings up again. But it sounds pretty phenomenal. There's I've ordered a couple pickups. I've ordered a Seymour Duncan Alnico 2 neck pickup that's coming on Tuesday that I can drop in, and another pickup if that one doesn't end up sort of complementing the bridge pickup. The other pickup that's coming is a Toneworks. It's a small boutique shop. I'm just going to take a quick peek at what my Amazon mail says. So let's see, we bought this last night. So where is it? There's the Tone Rider Telecaster guitar pickup set. I bought a set. Okay. So that I can swap out, take out the bridge pickup if it comes down to that the Seymour Duncan's not going to work out in conjunction with the bridge pickup. I can then swap it out with this Tone Rider. And now down to business. So that's the Telecaster. The let's actually bring out this guy. So this one's super awesome looking. It's a roasted maple neck with a roasted maple fretboard. Not one piece, it's a 2-piece. Has the maple cap that's flamed beautifully flamed, and then sunburst finished. Wilkinson VL100 bridge, a sewer humbucker pickup on the bridge, and a DiMarzio mini humbucker on the neck. This again has the 4-position toggle, and because I am always wiring things up backwards, that's the treble pickup, and that's the neck pickup. I'm gonna have to put a couple more pieces of foam underneath the neck pickup because it sort of wants to tilt, but it doesn't affect the sound radically. And then to prove that, I'll show you. And then also the other thing I noticed is, following the diagram, I put on the let me check the volume of this. I put on the capacitor on the tone control. I put it on backwards. So I've got to go in and I've got to put it on the other terminal. Right now, zero tone is like zero influence of the capacitor is 0 on the knob, and then as soon as I click that, so you can get it cool. Anyway, so that's what it sounds like. Okay, let me kick on a little distortion. Anyway, that's what this sounds like. Pretty awesome sounding instrument, and because of various little flaws on it, I'm really don't want to let it out of my possession. But this is a beautiful little instrument. Anyways, that's number 2. And as I was saying, the roasted maple neck on here is absolutely glorious. It's rock solid. I don't have to do almost anything in terms of the setup of it. I just had to get it to like a finger tight on the truss rod, put the strings on, tighten it a little tiny bit just to get the relief back, and it's seriously, I put the strings on, tuned it up. I did a little bit of fret polishing because there was a couple places where the they didn't level the neck exactly perfectly. But once I did that, that one did actually had almost no. There was only the 24th fret or 22nd fret. The very last fret had an issue on the E string. It was just that they didn't level it out all the way down to the heel of the neck. So did some of that, tuned it back up, and that's it. It's all done. I put the truss rod cover, which is the ohm symbol. This guy I didn't get to. I did a lot of work on it, but as you can see, I haven't wired it. I haven't done any wiring on this yet, and I really am not feeling like 100% in the wiring mood on it. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear this. I'll come close, as close as I can, but. Anyway, the fact that I can play, of course, all the intonations set up and everything. The fact that I can play like as comfortably as if I was playing on a normal 6-string electric, not have a like there really isn't any fret buzz on here whatsoever. No fret buzz here whatsoever, and I'm talking to the microphone. So that's why I'm not looking at you. But on the 6-string, it's equally good. I had to do some kind of real magic here to kind of make it the necks work, because this was a vintage new stock body that I got from somebody who I guess bought a whole bunch of old PV Hydra bodies. I know you can find these around, and then of course these mahogany necks I picked up from a potential long-term sourcer that I would like to use in China, and they've done a pretty wonderful job on this. You know, it's not terribly consistent, but that's the kind of stuff you can go back and say, well, I would like both of them to have these nice little flutes here at the base of the neck, or if I was to show even what I was mentioning earlier, be able to say this is how deep the pocket is for the neck. Can you actually have the curvature of the neck go further down? And there's a distinct possibility that we can still work something out. But as I said, I'm continually looking around for quality, good parts sources, and I just talked to a very good manufacturer go direct to the manufacturer in Vietnam. My good friend Mark Miller up in Seattle had him and a friend were running a guitar company, and they were using USA Custom Guitars, and I really love USA Custom Guitars. They're as I've said, I've used their parts before. In fact, I can bring out. I'll bring this guy out. This one was all USA Custom Guitars parts. I even took a chance because this is like I tend to trust them so well that I can do that. The swamp ash up here, mahogany here, and it's in this weird checkerboard pattern. And of course it was like, well, I'll just get this for myself. I don't recall ever owning a Floyd Rose based guitar, so I'll pick up like a cheap, like the Floyd Rose Special. I ended up replacing these little fine tuners because the old ones are shit. Put on the locking nut, put on a set of, I don't even remember what these are. They're probably just Grovers, but they're just like a sort of $30 set of tuners, and this thing's fantastic. The guitar pickups themselves are from I bought them from StewMac. They're Golden Age pickups. And then it's just got a volume control and a 5-position super switch. And this is my first experience with a roasted maple neck. And of course, I was too intimidated to install the locking nut myself, so I had a guy who does refretting and cutting nuts up in San Jose. He did this, and when he drilled to put the locking nut screw on, he drilled through. They're tiny little holes. It's not going to impede the stability of the neck or the strength of it. And I can always come back and I can fill them, get some sawdust and super glue, and just fill the holes up. But this guitar, as I mentioned before, like, I really like to set these things up so that the action on them is just like butter. And you know what? This is this guitar, and this is actually kind of high anymore compared to what I really like. And the 12th string I just showed you, the double neck, is lower than this, and no buzzing. So there's a couple other instruments that are floating around the house that I built. I know that I've shown you the white one before, but again, the new instruments are going to have this headstock. I'm going to sort of tidy this up a little bit because I cut it with the jigsaw that I just got, and I didn't hold it flush to the table, so it's a little bit angled, and I tried using the rasp to even it out, and it didn't quite work. So anyways, that's the guitar manufacturing side of things. Really, this guy, once we get the parts in and get this finished up, I'll post a video and show you what it's capable of. It's going to have a lot of tonal variation because of the 4-position toggle switch, and you'll see what's. This is going to be a fantastic instrument. So, and it's like, for the price of, for $9.99, you're getting a 100% solid guitar out of it. anyway, onwards and upwards. So we're getting kind of into the home stretch of doing the production work for the album, and I hate this. I'm using a Logitech wireless keyboard, and it's delayed, and it misses notes or doubles them out. And I'm going to give a shout out to the people here on that are watching from Periscope or YouTube events or Twitch, or even from my music group, the Robert Svilpa Music on Facebook, as well as my personal profile. Hello to everybody. I hope you're having a great day. But we're going back now to the, going to talk about the this piece, In Memory Of. One of the individuals that did a quick review of the demo stuff and returned some feedback to me was asking how this song sort of fits in, because the rest of the album is pretty progressively technical stuff. And this, you know, I always view an album, you have to listen to, you can have a piece like Gates of Delirium that is just balls out, playing to the top of your capacity and doing, you know, this frantic sort of, you know, heavy piece of music, that it just can't be that the entire way through and just end like that. It really needed to have the piece end with Soon, with John Anderson's piece, which was absolutely beautiful as a standalone piece of music. But it even adds so much more power to be able to have the dynamic. And so, looking at like a lot of the material I had on the album, a lot of it is just really, really frantic and really crazy, and even the stuff that doesn't sort of deviate in time signature and go crazy with the musicianship, like go way overboard, is still pretty frantic. So what I did was, this was written back in, right after we came back from, like we went for Christmas vacation to Anaheim, then Hawaii. It was our first time to Hawaii. Came back, and and I was in a pretty pensive mood. One, because I was kind of sick. I got really sick in Anaheim and stayed sick throughout my time in Hawaii. So I still managed to enjoy it. So that speaks a lot to Hawaii, and to how beautiful that place is. Came back and I started messing around with another one of my homegrown instruments, with this 12-string on the sofa in the living room. And you know, you feel miserable and pathetic when you're sick. And I can plug this in because this is wired. Oops. And this is only a 3-position toggle. So I started playing around with this like E major, E4, E7 adds like suspended 4 on the 12-string, and it sounded really nice. Now, that was really nice for sort of like for a while. So then I wanted to use a non-typical progression. So I went from, I did like root, I guess it is a typical progression, root minor 6, 4, minor 2. And then the bridge is just the minor 6, major 4th, and then the sus, and then I'm playing the B, which really isn't a sus, but it's I'm leaving the B and E pairs to chime open, and then minor 2nd, and then I'm going back to the opening. So that's the whole song. Pretty simple. Now what to do with it? So out comes Cubase, which I have open on that project, and started playing around with it, laying down the guitar progression. So this Breedlove 6-string, I brought out the 6-string to play the guitar through. This is essentially all first take. You know, I got to a point where like I forgot or I delayed too much on the next chord, and so I stopped and punched in, and the same thing back here. Probably because this is after the guitar solo. So yeah. And also the third verse has like sort of an extended section to it. Put it all together, played my own drums on it. Posted it up on the Bandcamp site, and it, you know, crickets. It's no big deal. No vocals yet, but I always had intended to be able to put to get my friends to be able to play to their strengths on all the songs. So I asked my friend Mark Miller up in Seattle, I was hoping to get to play bass on this and to bring in his touch. I said, hey, I knew he could play drums. It's like, hey, if you have any urge to do this, you know, bring it out, bring it on, do it. And so he sent back the tracks. He was very excited, very nervous too, because he hasn't played drums in a while, and so Tuesday, I think it was, I got the tracks back. And so I'm going to preview them here for you. I've already done sort of a quick mix on this, but he's playing fretless bass, so he's got a DI bass, so he's running the bass direct into the board, plus he's got a stereo track miking his amp. So I kept both of them because it really fattens it out. His drums include a percussion track. So there's like a shaker. There's a shaker and tambourine, and then the ambience. So he's printed his reverbs on here. And then surprise, he's done stereo room high mic, stereo room low mic, printed his drum chamber effect on it, and then also used a reverb plate printed here. So he's made it like profoundly easy for me. All I had to do was, he said the only thing he didn't do was compress and do a few other things to make things really snap. So I came in and I just had to do some essential things on the snare, on the kick, a little bit on the overheads and the rooms, and bingo, this is the track. So let's play it for you. This is still without any words, but you'll be able to really hear what this track is going to end up sounding like in the end. This is called In Memory Of. right now it's called In Memory Of. Still remember it. Still sounds as good as I remember it. And that's pretty awesome. Just very, very nice. The drum fill at the end is really sweet. And if you notice, I mean, I metered out a couple guitars here. So again, like when I first started, working on this, you lay down your basic guitar. I'll go and do my own bass guitar and some keyboards, and then I come back and go, ooh, wouldn't it sound great to put 12 string on? Meanwhile, not fixing up the original guitar track. And it's like, oh, if I'm going to put a 12 string on and I'm going to be, balancing that out on more on one side, I'm going to want to have a equal and opposite balance on the other. So I brought in the Turner, Rick Turner Model 1, and was using the piezo pickup on the Rick Turner. And while I was doing that, that's where that led to this. So the first guitar solo is a slide guitar, using this guy right there. It's like a slide that I bought for $5 or $7 when I was 19 or 20 years old, and it's just sort of stuck around. Of course, I wish it really didn't have a painted butterfly on it, but it is a crystal slide, and it's stayed with me. In fact, if you can read the print, I hope, maybe it says Hall Crystal Flutes. So I got this slide and it's been hanging around. I do have like a brass slide somewhere that doesn't have nearly the same kind of emotional attachment for me, but I use that. The guitar, does a nice ascent, descent, the slide, and at the very end, I swap over from doing the slide guitar. I switch it over to this. So. So, even though it says Turner lead guitar with slide, it's not. It's actually traditionally picked with fretted notes, and I'll come back and do a little bit of something with it to make the playing line up a bit more, because that was a one take improvised item. I had tried doing it with the slide, doing that exact same thing, and it didn't work out for me. It just was late and it was just gross. So I took a quick take at it with just picking and fretting, and I kept it. So the other thing is, almost all of the piano tracks I just banged out live on the controller keyboard. The Hammond is the same thing. I just the bass notes here during the solo looks like it's sequenced, but the rest of it, where you've got the intro and the chorus going into the solo, where we've got a lot of the typical Hammondisms and the suspended notes and augmented triads and things, was all live, because I wanted to have that sort of spontaneous sound of somebody who's actually dexterous, and so I think it turned out rather well. And then finally Mark had added in some beautiful mellotrons. He had a new sample set, mellotron sample set, and so this is a string and choir it sounds like string choir. We can confirm that by just doing this. So yep. And just adds that really nice, like, so if I solo that and that together, just fills everything up. So there, that's the piece. There really isn't much more to discuss, but this is the piece of music that I've got. It's sounding really nice. I've got to because this is essentially after redoing the guitars and a couple other things. It'll be ready for vocals. So I'll be doing those vocals this week probably. Using my handy dandy notebook and my Sennheiser, going through my brand new ART MP1 Mark II 2-channel tube preamp that I got a few weeks ago and installed, and it's sounding pretty awesome. So anyways, so that's the deal here. If there's any interest in the Telecaster, you can reach out to me directly, because honestly, not just because I built it or assembled it or whatever, it's a spanking awesome instrument. And once we get the pickups issue resolved, like I said, I'll play a video and you can see just how amazing it is. It's much more of a typical but slightly hotter Telecaster. It'll have a slightly hotter Telecaster tone to it, with the added benefit of putting the two pickups in series, which will give you this Brian May tone that's gonna knock your socks off. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm gonna go and try and ingest some more carbs to regain, because it was only 94 degrees outside and smoky, and my body is just complaining at me like you wouldn't believe. But I'll be back here next week with another amazing, exciting episode of Talking Shit, and we will. I could call it, I'm thinking of calling it Talking Physics, but spelling physics like F-I-Z-Z-I-K-S. And then we can talk about things like the asteroid, the 6.5 foot diameter asteroid that's going to be grazing Earth, has about a 0.5% chance of hitting Earth the day before Election Day. We can talk about all sorts of stuff. We can still talk if anybody wants to post something. But anyways, that's it for today. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you're in one of these wonderful fire zones, just again, stay safe. And just like us, have to be prepared to evacuate as needed. God keep you safe, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, and have a great week.